topic number 2 is we often talk about the need to reAfricanize when it comes to hair among the women of our communities. But what about our men or boys? Where do we get the idea that a low cut is professional, right? Uh, but twists and locks are unruly and feminine. So that should be topic number 2. This came with a link. Let's check it out. Looks like it's taking us to Twitter. Here's this tweet from Chief Confirm saying, "What's your take on this?" So let me see what these pictures are saying. It's from Keita Nicole. It says, "My boys went to spend a night with their dad, and this is what he chose to do, I guess. My baby is so hurt and embarrassed, and I'm hurt because I know how he loved his hair. He don't even want to go back to school." So I guess this was the before on the left here. And after is what the kid looks like over here. And it's hard to see, but it says, I guess it's a text between her and the father. "Why did you cut Jalen's hair off? It looks bad, and he doesn't even want to go to school. He's embarrassed. I don't understand why you would do that to him," right? Maybe the next slide will give us a little bit more, but that's the kid again with the twist. That's the haircut. And here's the tweet. Like, once again, it seems like the mom is saying, "Why did you cut Jalen's hair? It looks bad, and he doesn't even want to go to school because he's embarrassed. I just can't understand why you would do that to him." And the pop says, "I'll fix it Tuesday when I get back. It looks a lot better than the twist. I told you that I didn't want his hair twisted, braided, or dreaded. That's not suitable. I don't want him to look like he came from the streets." So there's where you get to it, right? With that said, Brother Bakari, how do you feel about this particular
I
prompt?
think that's some BS. Talking about he'll look like he come from the streets. If it's have braided a twist, uh, that come from white folks telling you your hair is no good. The same thing with the black women putting weave in their head uh, 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 and having certain styles, not liking not just the weave. So I'm not gonna say that like it's just getting European hairstyles because the European big bad white man and told you something wrong with your hair. So we shouldn't use our hairstyles because our hairstyles is not, it's no good. It is no good. Something is wrong. Something is wrong with them. Evil, I guess, dreadful, I guess. We don't like it. It's also a part of being considered what they call being civilized. You know, if you talk like the white man, act like the white man, eat the white man food, and dress like the white man, now you become civilized. that's that's how you become civilized, you know. So yes, so with these white folks, that's what it is. Our goal is to be like them, and so in so many different ways, and a lot of us don't even know that's where it come from. That's the sad thing, but that's what it is, my opinion.
Thank you for
Now,
that, Bakari. Thank you for that. Yeah, so we're talking about re-Africanization in this prompt. When it comes to hair, we usually talk about amongst women, but what about boys? Right? Let's mix it up a little bit. Only, what say you here?
Yeah, it makes me sad, But especially since I got my natty, you understand? I got the what they call it, the unkempt locks. Everybody their mama tell me to cut my locks, make it better at least, right? Make it like Koku's. No, but what I'm saying is that when it comes to, yeah, I mean that's what it reminds me of. Like that's what, because people are like, "Hey, Oni, why you date so many women or something like, or why do you try to date women or something like that, right?" And it's like, if you are serious about looking for a future relationship, right, you have to really understand women, and you have to go and pick the one that would be a suitable, a suitable pair with you. Because the one thing I can say about my son's mother, you know, among like, you know, whatever, like one of the good things I can say about her is that she's not religious. You know what I mean? Like she's so not religious. I wouldn't even say she's spiritual. Like when I met her, I was probably spiritual, if you will, but she's just not religious, and I like that. You know, one thing I picked up in Africa was that a lot of the women were religious. You know, praise God, thank God, this blah 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 blah. Go to church. Oh, I'm at church. I'm this blah blah blah. You know, I can't really like. It's hard for me to vibe with that. It's hard for me to really get with that. But one thing I could also say, like truthfully, is that my son's my son, I like my son to have hair like me. Now he don't really have the same texture like exactly like mine, so he's not gonna get it like exactly like mine. But what I could say is that I like when he was younger, he had a nice fro, you know, and like his mother would cut it, you know, to the point where I have to kind of like discipline my son and be like, you tell your mother not to cut your hair, you know. So what I don't really get about this boy is that if he doesn't want his hair to be cut, because he looked like he a grown-ass kid, right? If he don't want his hair to be cut, he's supposed to be able to tell his father, no. I mean, I don't know if you can tell your father no, I guess. But at the same time, it's like that's the real trouble with regard to relationships, is that you have to like really agree with some fundamental basic things. And clearly, this is something that they did not agree with, you know. And so, on this woman's part and on this man's part, y'all shouldn't have had a child together, you know. And I mean, I'm not saying that the hair thing is that serious where I'm like, yo, I shouldn't even have my kid because of this hair. But it's like real talk. That's one of the reasons why, you know, I had like one of the reasons I'm even in America is because you can't just take your kid away, you know. And his mother's like, nah, I ain't trying to live in Africa. You know, that's where they kidnap folk or some shit like that. You know, nah, she's not that cool, but she's kind of cool, right? Not really. She's not too cool. I'm just. But she did say that, you know. But either way, it's like, yeah, that's what I see. Like what I see here is that this. Now, as far as the question is concerned, see, me personally, I'm all about Africanized hair. I don't like the low cut. You know, I don't do the low cut. You know, I don't even like. I haven't been to a barbershop, you know, since I was like 10 or something. You know what I mean? Like I haven't been to the barbershop. You know, my son has never seen a barbershop, you know, so I'm not even about that, you know. Shit, I'll tell y'all true. I haven't combed my hair in like 20 years. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I'm not about that. But as far and like I would get on people's ass for that, but I mean, I get it though. Like at the end of the day, I mean, I'll admit that, you know, hair, like we might make a bigger case about hair than it needs to be, but all the same, it's like, yeah, I think this was more so a problem of two adults getting together to raise a child and not agreeing. But I mean, I've been in that, and that's why I gotta take seriously, you know, who or what will be my next, who will be my next wife. You know, if somebody I get married again, you know, who will be my next wife and what is her religious beliefs as well as what are her beliefs on hair. Because some of these women I've been with, they'll be like, you know, it'd be good if you were to redo your hair or some shit. And it's like, you know what? I don't know if I don't want you in my ear. You know, I don't want you to in my bed, right? Like that, you know? Of course I call them, but not joking.
There's really out there causing problems. He says, I know I only don't like religious women. It doesn't go well with his 5-star degenerative qualities. So he's back on that shit. Daryl says to only to invite her to the wedding. Trigger Happy 262 earlier said, what do you say? This may be popular, but I don't think this should be a debate anymore. If we seize nations and states, there should be a clear Crown Act. Ban all straight hair, weave, straight wigs, and bleaching. I could get with that. That's fine. Lero says we want to be seen as decent, quote unquote decent, and it's not about being clean or quote unquote well groomed. It's about conforming to European expectations. That's my issue with it. With that said, Bonnie, you heard everything everyone had to say. What say you to this?
Yeah, it's cool. It's for me. Hair's not that much of a serious issue. I know my Rasta brothers may disagree with me, but I don't think it is so much of a serious issue. I mean, it usually always goes back. This personal thing, beef between mom and dad, really should have been vetted in a home rather than on Twitter. And I think that that's not necessarily a good thing. I think that if the kid and if they were sleeping in the same home, they probably would have vetted this issue a long time ago, and they wouldn't have to take it to Twitter. But I think this is a personal beef that they want to start and spark between black men and black women. I don't take it that seriously. I know some of my brothers take it extremely seriously, but for me, it's just here. It's just here, man.
Yeah, boy, and I think that's often the problem, though, right? We just take things for just things, but in this paradigm that we're in, things aren't just things, right? There's something to it. Like when you look at the persecution the Rastas got in Jamaica and stuff like that, and sometimes still, and even in Nassau too, actually, when I was growing up, but not as bad as Jamaica, of course. The things that we just think is things. My point in this line, my point here, the things that we think is just things, often tend to not just be things. And I think we have to start, just in general, we have to start minding all of our business. Like Makari has the mind your black business. We have to start minding all of our black business, like every thread. Because this idea where you could just be haphazard and all that kind of stuff, and certain things matter to you, certain things don't. Nah, in this paradigm with this enemy that we have, all this shit matters. You know what I mean? All of it does.
Kofu, I understand what you're saying, and I do hear that, and I do respect them comments. But I say my belief is our greater war. Okay, our greater war is the fight for nationhood. When we get our nation together, we could determine the rules of that nation and what we said inside of it. And I think that my focus, and yours as well, and everyone else on this panel too, is towards nationhood. Okay, so yes, these issues are very important, but currently we exist in a nation that many of your brothers would say is not ours, not ours. So the greater war, I am fighting on that effort, not front.
Yeah, I would say Barna might be surprised, but I would agree with Barna in some capacity. Then we really stopped calling him Mr. Well, yeah, I agree with Barna in some capacity in the sense of, like me personally, like if I want to cut my hair, I'll just cut it. Somebody, some people are like, oh my gosh, you cut your hair. Oh my, what? No, right? But I would say two things. One is that, a lot of things that we don't realize, the backdrop for what we do, a lot of it comes from Christianity. So the whole idea of boys should have short hair and women should have long hair, it was actually a biblical verse. Like actually something out of the, I don't know, maybe the Old Testament or some shit, but it's a biblical verse, right? And on the other hand, they got this character Samson. It looks like Barnum might have dropped, I think, but this is character Samson who he loses his locks and then he loses his strength, and that's like a story that we tell ourselves, has some sort of meaning or whatever. But like realistically, I would look at it like, I don't know if people say hair is dead skin cells, I don't know. But I would just look at it like that and just be like, yo, you know what? If I want to shape it a different way, if I want to cut off the edges, if I want to do this, so on and so forth, I'll do it. So like this boy, his hair, the cut is not the best, but notwithstanding, like for instance, if like when my son got his hair cut, I wasn't like, yo, you got to put on the hat. Oh my gosh, I'm crying. Oh man. I did tell his mother, stop cutting his hair because I like his fro. But outside of that, it's like realistically, like even if she does cut his hair, it's like, yeah, it just grows back. You know what I mean? It just takes longer for it to get to the shape I want it. Now, like I said, I do tell him, stop making her cut your hair. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna answer me. You know what I'm saying? But so he tells his mom, no, don't cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, like for real, like I'm not really putting a premium on hair. Now, I agree with what Lero's saying about, a lot of sisters don't be wearing their natural hair, but I'm gonna be honest with this too. I was up in the regular spot other day, and this woman had a nice body. and straight hair. Now, straight hair does tell me, hey, you know, maybe she's not about that, or you know, not to say that natural hair tells me she's about that, but you know, straight hair maybe tells me she's not about that. But you know, if she gives me some time, you know what I'm saying, I'll spend the time. You know what I'm saying? 5-star degenerates, you know what I'm saying? I can't see Azuli here, so I might as well admit it.
Almost look, I'm finna get off for a second. I'm gonna be listening. I got to go pick up my son from work. I'm like, might try to get on in my car. But while I was saying that about hair, about getting it cutting and look civilized, I'm absolutely bald. I have no hair on my head. I don't even know. I do know now that it won't grow because I said I was gonna let it grow back to get a fade, and it can't even grow long enough to get a fade no more. I never had long hair my whole life, but I'm bald now. A dude messed my hair cut up in Korea, so I cut it off bald. And women told me I look good with a bald head. Shit. I kept my bald head. I've been doing it for shit half my life now on a daily basis, every other day basis. But that's why but I never had long hair anyway. I've never had hair long enough to get braids and plaits and twists. My hair was never, my whole life, my hair has never been long enough for none of that. But on that, man, I'm gonna leave y'all. I'm gonna come when I come back, but I'm gonna listen to y'all in my vehicle while I'm going to pick up my son.
Appreciate that, Bakari.
Good luck. Yeah, I just can't afford no haircuts. That's why I don't do them.
Let's bring in our boy Zuliism this week. Zuli, how are you this week?
Yeah,
Azula heard me say I was about to leave. Now he coming up here. I'm coming back, Azula. I'm gonna run you off too.
I'm gonna get off as soon as you come back.
Yo, that Haitian courage.
What I'm seeing, what I feel is that the whole thing about your hair is important because even throughout, if you look back, black people always been doing stuff with their hair. Always been doing stuff with their. The men have been doing stuff with their hair. The men been braiding their hair, been locking their hair. So this is part of the culture. What they did is they destroyed that. They destroyed that. And I speak in to this is that even me coming from a Caribbean back home, they wouldn't let me do anything with my hair. Just have a low cut. To me, a low cut when black men do low cuts all the time, I think that's equal to a wig. Because you don't want your hair to show. And that's very important. I know some people say, oh, I don't see it matters. Yes, it does matter because before you build the nation, you have to love yourself. If you don't love your hair, how you look, when you build the nation, you're going to carry out those same mental self-hatred thing that you have in the other nations. You're going to carry that within the new nation. So I didn't see this video or whatever. I didn't see it, but I just think that boys, a lot of people do that to boys. It's like cut your hair, cut your hair. Why is that cool? Yeah,
it's just pictures. It's just pictures. I'll scroll through the pictures while you talk. So just watch the screen, all right?
Oh, okay. So to me, it's just like I don't understand how they do that to boys, especially boys. Cut your hair. But meanwhile, throughout our nation, when we were younger, when we were untouched, boys been doing style with their hair. If you look at man, and he didn't want his haircut. Goku, he didn't want his haircut. The boy didn't want his haircut.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Nah, his mother did it.
The mother.
But he said he embarrassed.
And
his mother cut it.
The father cut it.
See, that's the father's state property. He doesn't understand. And again, he's gonna tell you, what the father's gonna say is that, for him to get to be a lawyer, because Steve Harvey said that BS too. I've never seen a lawyer with locks. He said that on national TV. So the father's weak. The boy at this age, you should let him enjoy the style of his natural aesthetics. Like if the mother got mad because of that, I agree 100%. Let the boy grow his hair. I could understand this when he's like 18, 19, if you want to make that argument, or how you going to get a job, okay, that. But he's a young man, young boy. Let him fall in love with his own natural aesthetics. So now you're teaching him not to like his hair. Now, if it sticks with him, he's going to pass that on to the next generation, and so forth. So, because only had said, like, because in the Bible does say that But at the same time, the Bible said like Samson had long hair. So the Bible is schizophrenic anyway. So, but when we look at our own culture, like when we were untouched, black men and black women always did fly shit with their hair. When we came into this slavery, that's what it. Did you know that the reason that why that the whole shit that black women have now, wearing the head scarves and all of that, that's not even us. That's from slavery. You see how African black women always like to wear a scarf. They put it in style. They put even the natural sisters wear those long scarves. That's not even us. That was brought to us by slavery. I know a lot of black women don't know that even those quote unquote the one that have their natural hair. No, they said that the white women did not like the slaves to show that their big afros or their curls, and they had them wear a headscarf. I disagree with that. Like that man is that like yo, that he's wrong for that. Let the boy be a boy. He's a kid. Let him fall in love with his freaking features, bro. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Nah, I appreciate you coming up, Zuli. Does Oni or Bakari want to add anything else? Oh, Bakari might be gone. Does Oni want to add any thoughts here?
No, I think I was looking for the I think I was looking for the Bible. Yeah, the Bible verse, because I realized that. Let me see. What's to say?
No, the Bible verse I've watched. If they said boys should have low cuts or men should not have long hair like women. But again, if we look at us when we was us, each group of people, I don't want to use the word tribe, but each tribe had their own style. And when you look at African style and indigenous style, the men did stuff with their hair. The mohawk, that's an African thing.
Yeah,
They confused you. They confused you and they made you think that was Indian people. No, that's an African thing.
Oh, I agree with Trigger right here. Trigger says Freeform the most hated, but the one with the most character. Yeah, I'll tell you, I look like when I was young, I looked like motherfucking Goku, man. But that's why that's why I ain't really, get too many women back then. But anyway, well, I mean the Chinese would take pictures though. The Japanese though, they would be like, yo, this motherfucker's an anime character.
Funny enough, nowadays you would get love with that Goku hairstyle.
Yeah, Jay-Z motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for that. Corinthians 11 is the one. I don't know if I should be reading the Bible though. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Should I do it?
Yeah, you shouldn't before you get a strike by the Bible, because you're a degenerate. Don't even open the Bible. I don't know how you had the balls to open the Bible.
Nah, this is the website. I ain't open it, man. You know damn well I got no Bible. The only Bible I got was the Bible that I left on the floor. I just left that shit on the floor. Like it was somebody else's Bible. It fell. And I was like, why would I pick this shit up? You know what I'm saying?
What a degenerate. This guy right here.
Well, Buana had to step off for a minute. I'll just say I like Trigger Happy and others, Afro Native World. I feel there is an importance because these folks who we fell to, they pushed a certain Eurocentric standard on us. And there has to be a reason for it. And I think we all can figure out what the reason is. This whole idea Buana said about when we get to our nations, we'll then decide. No. We need to have that understanding now.
Because Goku, what you just said is right. Because if you don't have that understanding, when you build your so-called new nation, you're gonna carry out the same thing.
Yeah, you're gonna build a nation with Eurocentric beauty standards.
Because sometimes who was the number one people in college telling us to cut our hair? Was it mostly black people? Yeah. How are you gonna get a job with this? It was us. We did this. I've never heard of a Caucasian person tell me to cut my hair, but I've heard more black people tell me to cut my hair than any other race.
Yeah, you won't get a job.
Yeah, it's not professional. We're for the interview for the. Can I tell you that's what happened with me, man? My family was telling me, like I better cut my hair before I go to Jamaica, or else. You know what I'm saying? Now the warning they had, I already told y'all this, but the warning they gave me was that if I don't, then the police might stop me and cut off my ear. And I was like, the fuck, but Ear is just what they call hair in Jamaica. But I was kind of scared, Loki. I was about to cut that shit.
And again, Oni, and isn't that supposed to be our own nation? The white, the who rules there? Like
That's what I'm saying. Like backwards, man, backwards. I ain't gonna hold you, man. They like
this is just heartbreaking. And the worst thing is, like we were talking about on Tanzan show, the Vanguard. Where are the Vanguard? Yo, where are the men? How you let another man tell you how to look with your own hair? This is crazy. And that's not even only in Jamaica. If you go to Haiti, all the other Caribbean and Africa, probably it's the same thing.
Same thing.
We taking the L, man. This is just ridiculous, bro.
In the chat, only post a bunch of biblical verses. I'm good on that. In the chat, Trigger says, I also think another perspective too is that men having hair is also seen as feminine, which is why men hair is specified, because that be a dynamic. He goes on to say, I even do this in new African nations. You won't get a job if you have straight hair. Bleaching always have to be clear. Yeah, you have to say. This is why you have to have these conversations now and build towards this shit with this kind of mindset too. Lero says only black folks had something negative to say about my natural hair, especially black women. So she's echoing what our boy Azuli had to say. But Bakari in the chat says y'all should have gone to an HBCU. Will not have that hair problem.
Yo, Bakari, stop the bullshit. Stop. I've seen more people coming out of HSBCUs with freaking wig and weed. What is it? See, this is what I don't like with lying. What are you talking about?
He gonna run as soon as Brother Bakari come back on.
Koku, we have not people with is he serious? It's just stop it. Oh my God.
I don't know, because I know he's a big proponent of HBCUs. We have a topic for him later tonight. But I don't know if going to the HBCU would have changed that. In fact, it might have amplified it, because really, you go to an HBCU, you feel like you're getting home cooking, but they're just preparing you to go get a job from a white guy just like the rest of us who went elsewhere, right? I mean, it's the same shit. So I'm pretty sure a lot of black folks there would have been talking that cut your hair stuff too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, I don't like to go against, but you know, but I mean, I see because I know what's her name went to HBCU, Kamala, and she, you know, that's, I mean, I don't know what her natural hair looked like, honestly, because she probably got that Indian hair, real talk, because she Indian. But what I would say is that
why you even bringing someone like a black? She's black, homie.
You say what? No, because she went to an HBCU.
Why are you bringing Kamala? But she's not black though.
Well, I don't know what her hair texture is, real talk. But
Kamala's a black woman.
I got you, fam. I got
you.
you.
With your story. Right.
Yeah, right. You know, this dude going just like, we get it, man. Kamala's a half, you know, African, I guess. I don't know. But what I could say is,
I think
Brother Bakari said, you said what? I didn't hear you. Yeah, I think what Brother Bakari might be saying is that, like, you would see more like unprocessed hair you know, than you would in the general population.
But that is not true. That's a lie. That's
in New York and like Brooklyn. No, I mean, like, see, that's what I'm saying, because we in Brooklyn, so like we generate, like, some women will tell you
only go watch the step shows. Go watch the step shows from the HBCUs. Go watch them.
Bro, you call me a degenerate, you watch the step shows anyway. But you watch these young, 19-year-olds.
What?
Okay, boss. All right. Anyway, but like what I'm saying is that I think he's just saying that proportionally, because but again, because we in Brooklyn or whatever, we in New York, so allegedly in New York, if you really want it, like, it's like the natural hair capital type stuff. So we don't really like you could still find women who have the process here, but a lot of women here have natural hair. But like if you like
that is not true, Oni. That is not true. Most black women have
how
perm
many times
hair.
you gonna cut me off, my guy?
Oh my God! All right, Oni. All right, 5-star. My fault.
Right, yo, I'm 5-star, but you watching step shows from HBCUs like every damn year. You watching the gymnasts, during the Olympics and all that shit, right? All right, but what I'm saying is that I think that proportionally, I don't know. Again, it's hard to say, but like I think generally speaking, you'll find a lot more process here. Generally speaking, you'll find a lot more negative traits among Black folk as you like outside of New York or outside of the cities type stuff. But all right, never mind. Erzuli, you could have it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not for Bakari to say that. Oh, if which HBC wouldn't have that head. Stop that. That's a lie. That's a lie. The only time maybe that was true was when black men started the black and I'm proud thing. After that went away, all the women went back to perm. Yeah, be giving props to Madam C.J. Walker, whatever her name is. She created the crack. Stop that, man. There's no way you can move ahead if you're in denial.
Sorry about that. Really, you're in the matrix a little bit on the phone there, but let's welcome back Buana. Buana, you heard what a lot of people had to say. What say you?
I don't know why he's really getting so mad at us. All his women have like straight blonde hair. I mean he really got some nerve.
Blue eyes.
Blue eyes and blonde hair, and he's messing with us. I don't know, but like the brothers were saying, I I don't have a serious issue with the whole hair issue. I think that I talked about it. But the brothers them take it very seriously. Some brothers take the hair business very very seriously. So maybe they the best prompt for me to comment on because I don't really take it so seriously as the brothers. So
All right. Damn it. All right. Wait a minute. Let me welcome in Carl Hezekiah this week. Carl, have you heard this conversation on this prompt?
I have heard the conversation on this prompt. This was a topic of conversation on a Black father's Facebook page that I belong to about the father cutting a young man's hair. I think it's kind of sad that in 2023 we're still believe that something's wrong with our natural hair that grows out of our bodies. I have locks. My son has locks. It's not really that big of a deal. You know, and I kind of looked into the situation with this young man. So the mother and the father have like a custody battle. He has every other weekend. Because of the court custody and whatnot. And he's known his son has had locks for a while now. He didn't care, but I guess he got into it with the mother. He cut the boy's hair as a way to kind of spite the mother. So it's not so much about him looking like a criminal. He just did it to get back at the mother. So yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense. I think we should be proud of our hair. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We don't make it look. It doesn't make it like criminals or anything like that.
Yeah, Carl, I'm glad you came and brought it back to the particular conversation of reAfricanization, right? We tend to, I got to mute, it's Carl, I guess. We tend to talk about it in terms of women and girls a bunch, but we don't necessarily talk about it with Black men and boys. And I think, I don't know. I think it really meant something when I was growing up. When for school you had to go get your hair cut in a Caesar cut, this shortcut, and I'm like, but why? You know what I mean? And as I've grown up, I realize how all these little things, including hair habits, right? All these, even how we use the damn toilet, is a detriment to us because someone else told us to use that shit like that, right? I'm sure Zulio could speak to some of that too. So yeah, Colin, I'm glad you brought back to that. Should we, as people who are trying to get back to, some form of who we once were, shouldn't we be concerned? Let's take away hair for a second and just say, shouldn't we be concerned with matters both big and small? Carl, I'll start with you there.
Absolutely. And we got people who, it's not just the hair. We have people who bleach their skin, you know. So we should be concerned with that. But we've been taught that our appearances, our natural appearance, is something wrong with it. You know, it's not professional. It's not, you know, you're a criminal, you're a thug, you know. So we should be concerned about big and small matters because this is who we are. I mean, we have to have a radical acceptance of who we are as a people. We can't be continuing to continue these narratives of, you know, you're something wrong with you, you're destined for criminality. Because in reality, how many of these black children who you see who got killed by the cops, killed by vigilantes like Tamir Rice, he didn't have on locks. The cops showed up and killed him within a few seconds. Trayvon Martin didn't have locks. Um, George Floyd didn't have locks. You know, these are all black men murdered by the state. They don't need any provocation to kill you. You can be bald, you can have locks, you can have braids, you can have a Caesar, you have a fade, it doesn't matter. So we got to be concerned with all of that. We got to take back our mentality. I think Dr. Bobby Wright said that, you know, the last battle we have to fight is the battle for our minds, and that we're losing. And I can kind of see it with this parent. If he's telling the truth, again, I think it was just to spite the mother because of their own custody battle, which is ridiculous because you're supposed to leave the kids out of it. Whatever issue you got with the kid, with the mother, you leave that to between you and the mom. Leave the kids out of it. So I think that's a childish act in of itself. But if his reasoning is that, you know, the kid is something wrong with that, we have to take back everything about ourselves.
In the chat, thank you for that, Carl. In the chat, Bakari was saying that they were rocking fros and locks in the 90s when I graduated high school. He says at HBCUs in Mississippi, I know because I went to those campuses. He says we were told. He said we were told the C1 cut looks good. Yeah, people told us that shit. I believe it or not, I've noticed that since I was a kid. Those long waits as a kid in the barber shop, and then trying to sit still during the cut. I remember looking at these charts with these people like from the back then. This was the 80s, so these charts were like from the 60s or something. And these kids, you know, with their head, you know, posed a certain way to see the cut. And I'm like, who decided this shit? Like, even as a kid, I had the understanding, who decided this shit? And I have to have my hair cut down, almost bald, to go to school. Like, who decided that? You know, and I that's the thing I want. I want us to start looking at things, not just the big things, but as big and small. Anyone else want to add?
I had an argument. I had a debate with a guy, and we were talking. I said, "Yo, when you get a Caesar like that," I told him that's equal to a woman wearing a perm, right? He was arguing with, "No, that's not true. That's bullshit. It's still out here." I said, "Bro, you are cutting your hair so short that you can't even see it. Like if sometimes like what's that brother, the white guy he said he's black, but he's married to a white woman. What's his name? Oh, when he cuts his hair low, you might think he's Hispanic. You might think he's even
Sean King.
Yeah, Sean King. Sean King want to pretend that he's you're not black, bro. Your parents came out and said you're a white man. But when you keep cutting your hair that small, to me, there's something in there. There's something in there because even like when you come to America, like I'm gonna say something that's really crazy. I had gotten a high top when I turned 18. My father didn't speak to me for a while because of that. Because of that. So it's been taught by us, by the parents, and they pass it on to the kids. And for people to say that the majority of black women are not wearing natural hair. Yes, it's more prominent now. Yes, I agree with what Laro said and some of what Bakari said. Yeah, more black women are wearing the natural hair, but it's not the majority. And if you see, one thing is this is the other thing that's crazy to me. A black woman might wear her hair out when she's going to a party. Soon as she's going for a job interview or if she has a speech she has to make, the hat comes come out and it's straightened. So I'm just saying that the hair thing is not a small thing. I think it's a big thing. And I think that's part of the because Brother Carl just said something, they got us mentally. You have to free yourself mentally. Another, when you move into your own nation, that you don't carry on those same prejudices that you were taught by your rulers. That's all I have to say.
I want to just add, what Carl was saying about, like the father was petty. I told y'all there was something wrong with the family, with the parents already, and that's something that I didn't peep.
Only that's worse though. Come to think of it, if that's the case, that's worse.
That's what I'm saying. Like
wow.
That's what I peeped in my, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why you got to be really, really cautious about who you decide to set up a home with, who you decide to live with, who you decide to have a child with, who you decide to build a family with, because there's a lot of things. Like, there are people who are toxic, and that's, like I said, I peeped that from my son's mother. No disrespect to her, right? I peeped that from my son's mother, but it's like, this the same shit. They will do this sort of stuff. Toxic people will do this sort of stuff. They will cut your kid's hair just so you could feel something. And like I know that, because I remember when I used to be like, hey, don't text certain things on my phone, whatever, right? And my son's mother would be like, when she's mad with me, she would text this time. And it's like, yo, like just doing shit when you feel like you got. So it's like right now, like I barely even talk with her, real talk. Like, I mean, we do talk, like we do message back and forth, especially about our son, but I try not to do much beyond that, not to say that she's not like she's friendly, she's a good friend and all that kind of stuff, but like I still know, like I'm still not like I already know that, like, she gave me an example of toxicity, you know what I mean, and like I could appreciate her on that. But like now, like I said, when I'm dealing with women these days, it's like I peep things from advance, oh, okay, this woman, I can't really, we can't live together. This woman, we can't really ride together. Like, we could do this, but we can't do that. And like, you just have to know that. And so like this whole situation where the dude is gonna cut his kid's hair just so that he could like spite the mother, like that's some old sick shit. But she should have peeped that from jump. We learned too late. That's what it is. And so what I would do is I would just take that L, and I would just communicate again. Please don't cut his hair. And that's it. But you already, like, you took the L as soon as you had a child with this man, and that's it.
I appreciate that, y'all. In the chat, Trigger Happy, I think I'll end the prompt here with Trigger Happy. He says, I think of it like this too. Wearing and mimicking another people is a form of insanity. Absolutely. Reafricanization is an act of getting African people to be normal and sane. That's why it isn't a small matter. He says it isn't a small or insignificant matter that we push to become congruent to our culture, because that's an indication of our freedom. So here, something that we always valued isn't insignificant. I'll leave that prompt there. Thank you all for that one right there. Let's go to Shoot the Breeze topic number 3 tonight, which is still in the same